Well, hello. Welcome back to the spirit of watercolor again. I'm glad you're coming back and continuing to go on this beautiful spiritual journey of watercolors with me. And I've got on my big black boots today. And the reason is I'm going to go out in nature and take some photographs today. And then I'm going to get some inspiration. It is March, so it's still cold and wintry. There's a lot of trees down. We've had some ice storms here, and unusual. But there's some awesome and unusual beauty that comes sometimes from things. And there might be something kind of sublime, not just beautiful, but, you know, awe-inspiring or sublime in its unusualness. So I'm going to go out exploring today, and maybe you'd like to come with me. I will, you know, just take some photos and then we'll come back to the studio and paint one of them. How does that sound for, you know, trying to get through the end of this winter / into March, which is spring. Spring is on its way, and we're just, you know, day by day getting there. But, you know, I don't want to just live in the future. I want to live in today. And that's one of the things I want to talk about in this video and paint about, is what's happening today that's wonderful and beautiful in your life that you want to put into a painting maybe, or a drawing, or into music, or something creative and beautiful where you can express how you experience it. Okay, so I'm glad you're here. And if you want to bundle up and come with me, let's go out and take a few gorgeous, interesting, unusual photos and see what it brings. Okay, I'll see you at the table too. Okay, so no matter where you live, there's beauty everywhere, and this is March, and it's, you know, still we have snow. Let me go back a little if I can here. Okay, cool. And yet, you know, there's just this beautiful sun. You know, we have more daylight now. The trees create some beautiful things going up in the sky, which I thought I'd photograph a little, and maybe we'll get some inspiration from this time of year. I don't live in the most incredible area. I mean, it's nice in Ann Arbor, but it's, you know, I'm just in a little townhouse, but there's lots of telephone wires. Who knows, though? Something might become interesting from some of these things. So what I'll do, there's just some nice homes over there. My favorite neighbor with his little dog lives over there. There's airplanes coming from somewhere, airport somewhere around here. And my husband and I took a walk. We have a park down back there. And so, yeah, there's just some interesting, cool things. There's a big lump of snow. You know, while it's, what do I say? Things are melting when it was 45 out, but, you know, you still have these really cool ideas like this. So I'll take a few photos, and, oh, there come the geese. They're going back to the pond out at the park. You're not honking, guys. Anyway, so I'll just do a few more photos, and then we'll pick something. I think I already know which thing I want to do. I took some photos already. Okay. This is a different day, but I really did love the way the clouds in the evening that I took this photo, and this is still, you know, this time of year, was very red in the sky, and that drama of the dark clouds with the red and those branches reaching out just really got me, and this is what I think I want to paint. I may crop it to do so. So I'm going to put this on Google Photos, and on my tablet I can look at it and draw from that. Here's two more photos I took, which are very similar to work from. Here we go. We're gonna try to, you know, get our drawing set up on our tablet. So we go to Google Photos, and here it is. Well, that's not as easy as it is, but in my photos, you know, I can I'm in my albums. So here's my photos. I'm just in the photos. And then I go through here and I find library. Click on library. And then I have choices and I go to the album that says skies. And then I pick the picture I want, which is this one, because this one doesn't have as much color and light in there and contrast of colors. But this one has more information than I want, so I'm going to zoom in on this a little, take out some of that big tree on the side, and kind of get the picture I want composed. I don't really want that lamp post in there, but I can just opt out. You can compose this as you like. But I like the trees. I liked how the trees were, and just the colorful, you know, movement of the white and the clouds and the reds in there. And I'll dramatize the red. See, it's artistic license, so you're going to decide, you know, what you want in and what you don't, what you like about it, what you don't. So this is how you take photos and you compose and change. The tablets make this much more interesting, or I'm going to say easier, much more easy, but also you can make your picture more interesting than what you actually see, because sometimes the photos don't do everything. There's something about it that I love. I want to emphasize, exaggerate that red in there, down in here. You know, I may move it around, but it's up to us to decide. But this is just what we're using as our inspiration and guide. Okay, so let's get the paper out and do our, you know, living in the day painting. So I'm stretching my paper. It's going to dry hopefully as flat as it should. It's, you know, wet, so it's going to taut as it dries. And then this is Arch's cold press 140-pound paper, and then up there is my photo that I'll be drawing from. And I'll get my pencils out when this is stretched, and we'll maybe draw in some of these wonderful branches and so forth here. Like I mentioned, I was quite taken by this picture and its dark sublimeness with its red in the sky and the trees and the light coming up through the trees. Just dramatic, and I like how these trees are reaching out toward it, and that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to draw. So these pencils were my aquarelle or water-soluble pencils, which I love, and I have my eraser. I made this from a dollar store little pencil holder, and these come in HB, 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, and I've done videos on these, so if you like them too, or you think you might like these, watch that video. And I'm just going to get inspired by that drawing. These pencils, like I said, are water soluble. Okay, but I'm going to save that HB, which is very fine lined. I'm going to use the heavier, softer pencil for the trunks. And then as I get into those thinner branches, you know, the color actually gets lighter, the blackness of these pencils, as you get lower in number. That's the 2B. I actually think I put these in order in my... And then this is the brush that they gave me with these wonderful pencils, of which I hope I didn't lose one. Okay, this is the 6B. I'm looking for my 8B. I think I still have that. Okay. What's this one? That is the 8B. Okay, 8B, 6B. Oh, and I don't see, I think is the 4B. Make sure they're sharp enough, and let's get inspired and just start drawing our branches. You know, I just think that, you know, I've thought about this long enough. I've been doing other videos and just thinking too much. But the idea here, and you can do this if you wish to, you can actually take the brush and you can kind of wet these trunks to see how they thicken out. Isn't that cool, right? And, you know, you can make the trunks of the trees as you go, and they can be thicker than that too. Okay. I'm seeing branches going like this, so now I'm just going to kind of shape where I want these, and what I'm seeing in the drawing over there, which is there's some coming up off the side like that as well, and out like this. and you're just getting that shape of they're reaching out toward the sky. I don't want to get too high because I want it to mostly be about sky. So that's probably as high as I want to go. They're not as high on the other side, but I'm gonna bring them there. Let's, yeah, bring maybe a little bit up here, but not maybe as high as this side. So we're going to bring some branches there. And so now I'm just placing them where I want them, and then I'll create trunks, and then we'll create the branches. So just to show you how it's going so far, and we're getting that shape in there. And I think these will be the tops of the trees as much as I can do that, because I don't want it really, it's probably okay, but I kind of thought it would be lower than that. But, you know, it's going to be fine. I just, my thoughts of it, I don't want it to be too much about the trees. I want it more to be about the sky. So yeah, I think that as high as it's going to go is probably right here. Yeah, I kind of wanted to bring one over here, just kind of going like this, a little more like so, and maybe here, a little more like so. And see how dark that can get. Now that could really be great. See when you put that into the wet, and it'll get much darker. Okay, so I just wet this. I had drawn my trees in and added the wet to each of those, and got a little excited because I realized, hey, if I just wet all the paper, all that water-soluble pencil will start to just, you know, do its thing. And instead of me doing each individual one, how about that? So now I just want to grab my palette and, you know, being inspired by that wonderful photograph of the sky. Probably should put that back up. This is another day. I decided to go to bed early and get some rest. It's very important to our well-being to do that, even though sometimes I get excited in my creativity and then I don't do that. Okay, let's get back up to our photo here. So we'll set that back up as a reference. I don't have all those branches in. I think I'm gonna go back in maybe with black brush, you know, black paint and a thin brush, and add more. I think that's enough to get the framework of what I was trying to do there. It's very similar now, but now I'm looking at the colors in the sky, and I think, you know, I have these Pyrol and Pyrroline oranges that are reddish orange. So let me grab a favorite brush, a nice big flat. This is wet, and you know, I'm just gonna let this be a little bit random. Okay, so here's and there's Pyrol Scarlet, Pyrol Orange, Pyrroline Red. I'm getting a little low on that. I should have reloaded that. I've got a lot of Pyrroline Orange. So let's, I think I'll go with the Pyrol Orange and the Pyrol Scarlet, which is more red. See? Yeah, orangey red. Okay. That might be just what I'm looking for. I don't know if I need the orange. I like a little of that orange in there. And this is just personal preference. You can mix your colors the way you like. I don't want to tell people how they should do that, okay? I mean, I could add a little bit of that other, but I think it's more of an orangey red, so I'm gonna blend these two, and it can shift a little from that to that in the sky. Okay, now again, favorite brushes, nice big brushes to get this nice, there's some red in here, just kind of coming through the sky. It's kind of moving upward like that, okay? And then there's some I saw down in there. I don't know if my paper's wet down there, so let's do that. And we're gonna move that around a little bit. And here there's some as well, which I meant to put in, but I didn't. So let's just wet down there as well. And there's a lot of white within the gray. We're going to also do some of that either Payne's gray, which is a little cold. I want a little warmer of that. You could spritz this with your water to move it if you want. It might get too wet, you know. We want to control the water to some degree here, right? As you will see, I will turn my paper so that the paint flows in the direction of the way the clouds are moving. You can start to see how it's looking here as it's drying. I had it by the heater, and when I put the mat over top, you can start to see, it's still wet, but you can start to see how it's going to kind of appear. Again, I want my tree branches off on the left coming up, and then yeah, it's going to be definitely a drama piece. Now that that's dried and it's pretty much the way I wanted it, I actually tried to iron it a little. I'm going to iron it a little more. It's kind of curled a bit, but I'm just taping it down somewhat, and I've started to draw in, or paint in, excuse me. I've started to paint in the trees a little more defined. And what I did, I didn't want to use ink, although I considered ink. I wanted a black paint, and I don't have a black, right? So took my Indanthrone Deep Blue and I mixed it in with the burnt sienna color here, right here, okay? And I made a nice black, and I just started coming over my tree drawings, tree trunks in the background, and I will show you what I'm doing there. I started it before getting in and showing you, because I wanted to make sure this was going to be the right black, and it came out very nice and very fitting. You know, you can get a bluish black when you mix your own, or a reddish black, you know, it depends, but this is a pretty true black and looking nice with my lunar black color in the sky. So I'm going to take a number 6 brush, round, pointed round, and that's what I was using, and it worked very well. And I'm going to put a few more trees in there for you. You could use your flat brush like so and come in this way as well, but I feel like sometimes the round gives me the shape that I want better, and I can make that thick to thin. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm realizing that for this to be realistic, I've got to make these a little stay thinner, and these can get thicker on the sides as we kind of come up. They're closer, taller, thicker, and then thinner and lower. So yeah, I got a little high on that one, but I'm not gonna make a big deal about it because it's easier just to leave it than to try to change that. But I typically would have liked these to be lower, but we'll let that one be tall. That's okay. And then we'll just keep on going, like I said, and I'm going to get a smaller brush to do the branches up at the top. So I'm just going to go around here and bring all the dark black into the trunks and shape them, and then we'll get into the smaller branches. So I've got the branches all around, the trunks, I'm sorry, and I just want to take the small brush now. I have this nice rigger, little rigger brush, which means it's long and thin, and it's very thin, and come back in with my blacks and do some of the smaller, thinner branches coming up from these, okay? And also I'm going to sponge in some more leaves and stuff as well, and things as well, and just kind of wiggling these little branches out and about. I've been working on those black branches. It's becoming a little more how I like it. I may be a little overworking it, but I'm kind of needing that detail there. And what I would still want to do, like I said, was get the sponge, and I've just got a lot of black, whoopsie, down here, and I'm just going to, grab some of that and use some of that up as I drop everything today. And get that really on my sponge. Let's see. And we need some branches again. I looked at my photo and I saw that there was some, leaves, excuse me. There's a little shapes of leaves here that I want to bring in a few places here, okay? And they might look darker now, but they're wet, and I think when they dry, it won't be quite so much, but just enough, here and there to add a little bit of information, a little bit of detail. Not too much exactly the same. I don't want to do. Put a few up here and a few there, and and these I might detail a little more, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to just do these little leaves everywhere. So I'm gonna kind of try to think about where they're going. Leaves left from last spring that didn't fall off of the trees, and maybe put them where I see a little imperfections here to just kind of, maybe a little over here. And I'm going to stop and just see how that's looking. You can put them all over if you'd like, and of course, if they don't look like the branches are connecting, I'm going to go back and just kind of clean that up with one of my little brushes here and connect the little leaves, back to the branch here.
Let me know if you'd like me to put a few crows flying through the sublime Wintey painting. And thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next coming video soon.